Hey guys, let's try the NS 2026 at Maths paper 2 today. Let's go. Question 1. Given the linear equations, okay, so they gave us these three linear equations. They're asking us to solve the linear equations and state the type of solution. Okay, so let's try to solve this. Question 1a. So we have 2x plus 2y minus 2z is 7. Negative 2x plus 5y minus 12z is 6. Then y equals to 2z minus 3. Okay, so conveniently, they already made y the subject. So what we can do is, we can say substitute equation 3 into 1. Then we can sub 3 into 2 as well. Okay, because y is already the subject. So sub 3 into equation 2. So. Right. So subbing this into equation 1 would be subbing this into the y here. So we can say 2x plus 2y minus 2z equals to 7. Then we expand this. This will give us 4z minus 6 minus this is 7. So 4z and minus 2z we can simplify. 4 minus 2 is 2z. Then this negative 6 we can bring it over that side. So 7 plus 6 is 13. Okay. Then we sub 3 into 2. So we sub this into this y. So negative 2x plus y 2z minus 3 minus 12z equals to 6. Okay. Then we expand the brackets. Plus 10z minus 15 minus 12z is 6. Then same thing, the z we can simplify. So negative 2x, 10z minus 12z is negative 2z. Negative 15 we bring it over this side, becomes plus. So 6 plus 15 is 21. So this whole thing we can times negative 1 because here got negative, not so nice. So x plus z equals to negative 21. 2x plus 2z. Alright. So now we have two equations with two unknowns, x and z. And here they gave us 2x plus 2z is 13. 2x plus 2z is negative 21. Which means 13 is negative 21. Which is invalid lah. Doesn't make any sense. Okay, so here 2x 2z is 13. 2x 2z is also negative 21. So cannot. So you can say no solutions. This will be our answer lah, because they're asking us type of solution kan. So here we have no solutions. Done. Alright, let's try B. Given the perimeter of this poster is 80 cm and area is this, find the value of length and width. Alright, so the perimeter is 80. So let's call this x, let's call this y. So perimeter will be 2x plus 2y. Okay, because you have to add all the sides to get the perimeter. So we have 2 x's and 2 y's. So we can say 2x plus 2y equals to 80. So from here we can actually simplify, since all of this we can divide it by 2. We get x plus y equals to 40. Okay. Then next they gave us the area. So area is 384. Area would be x times y lah. So you can say area is x times y, so x times y is 384, right? You can call this equation 2, so an equation 1. Then from equation 1, we can actually make x the subject. So instead of calling this equation 1, we make x the subject first. This one we can call equation 1. So easier lah. Then we can just sub this into that. So next we say sub 1 into 2. So we take this x and sub it into this x. So we get 40 minus y times y equals to 384. Then we can expand and solve this. So 40y minus y square is 384. So all this we can bring it over this side. So we get y square minus 40y plus 384 equals 0. Okay, so it's nice to have the a as positive, so easier to factorize. Then we can just use our calculator to factorize this. So we go to polynomial. A is 1, B is negative 40, C is 384. So we get y is 16, y is 24. Don't forget to show a working. So working is you have to put this into the bracket. And also don't forget the equals to 0. Most students, I don't know why they forget this. Right. So y is 16 or 24. Then we can go ahead and find the values of x. X would be 40 minus y. So we can say 40 minus 16 or 40 minus 24. 40 minus 16 is 24. 40 minus 24 is 16. So the length and width, we can say length is 24 because the length is a bit longer. The width would be 16. cm. Done. That's it. This would be our answer for B. Next, question 2. Okay, functions. Diagram 2 shows the graph of function denoted by fx is cube root of x. For this domain, graph gx is the reflection in the line y equals to x. Okay, for functions, if you have a reflection on axis y equals to x, that means this function is the inverse of this function, or this function is the inverse of this function. Okay, so if you have fx as this, f inverse x would be the reflection about the y equals to x axis. So here gx is technically the inverse of fx lah. So you can say gx is the f inverse x, and since they gave us fx, we can find f inverse x. Okay, so to find f inverse x, we let f inverse x equals to y, so fy would equal to x. Okay, because f inverse you bring over here will become fy. So if fx is cube root of x, fy would be cube root of y, fz would be cube root of z, and so on. So fy is cube root of y equals to x. Then we need to make y the subject, because if you make y the subject, you will get your f inverse x. So y will be x cube. Okay, the cube root, we pindah there, become x cube. So we can say f inverse x equals to x cube. And then gx is f inverse x, therefore gx is x cube. Done. Okay, then number 2. The corresponding coordinate of point Q in the graph Gx in terms of m and n. Alright, so if Q is reflected along this line, Q will be here. I mean Q prime lah, Q prime will be here. Okay, so here they are reflecting on the axis y equals to x, right? So your x and y will swap position because they said y equals to x. So your y will equal to this x and your x will equal to y. So you just have to swap lah. So you just say q prime will be n m. That's it. Okay, you just swap. X equals to y, y equals to x. Right. Number 3, coordinate of point P. Point P, where is point P? Coordinate of point P. Oh, here. Okay, P is here. Alright, okay, so they want us to find the coordinates of point P. Okay, so point P is the intersection between this curve and this curve. This curve's equation is x cubed, y equals to x cubed. This curve's equation, y equals to cube root of x. So if you want to find intersection point, you have to do simultaneous. That means this equals to this. So you can say fx equals to gx. Okay, because this is the intersection point. So fx is cube root of x, gx is x cubed. So we need to solve this. So cube root, we can also write it as x power 1 over 3 equals to x cubed. Then to get rid of the denominator, the whole thing we cube. So x 1 over 3, if you cube this, you get x power 1. 3 times 3 is 9. So x power 1 is x9. Then we can bring all the x's to one side. So you can say x9 minus x power 1 equals to 0. Then now we can factorize now. So you can take out the x, you'll be left with x8 minus 1. So we can say x is 0 and x power 8 equals to 1. So if you want to get rid of the 8, you can do two things. One is you can power the whole thing to 1 over 8, which will cancel off the 8. Or, to be honest, this is actually easier lah. Or another one is if you know square root of 8. Let's say a square is 5. So a you bring here will become square root of 5. If a cube is 5, cube you move over there will become cube root of 5. So a to the power of 8 is 5 means a will become root 8, 5, like this. Okay, so this is another way, but actually same only lah, you still get same answer. So 1 to the power of 1 over 8 is just 1. Okay, so this one we have to reject one of it because at P definitely cannot be 0 because 0 is here. So you see why we get two values is because this graph and this graph actually intersects at 2 points. One is when x is 0, one more is when x is 1. So this one we have to reject because this is not P. P is when x is 1. Then we can go ahead and find y. Y you can just use any of this equation lah. Let's just say x cubed. So y is 1 cube, y is also 1. So you can say coordinates of P 1, 1. Done. Right. B. given function kx is defined as this. Kx is this. Find function k square x and k cube x. Alright. Do we have enough space? Okay, we do. Let's do B. So kx is 5 over x. Too fat already. Yeah. Kx is 5 over x, where x cannot be 0. This is the condition. Because when you have x in the denominator, your denominator cannot be 0. Okay, let's do B1. They're asking us to find k square x. So k square x is the same as k, then you sub kx, kx. So you have to put kx into kx. So you have to put this into the kx. It means we have k 5 over x. So you get 5 over x. Putting the kx into the kx. So here, when you have fractions in a fraction, the easiest way is you just split it. So this is 5 divided by 5 over x. So divide means you can write it as times, then you swap these two. So 5 cancels off, you get x. So k square x is just x. Done. Then we find k cube x. Okay. K cube x would be k times k square x. So k square x is x, we found already. So it's basically kx, which is just 5 over x. Okay, because k square x is x, I can just write this as x. So it's just kx now again. So kx is the basic function, 5 over x. Don't forget your condition. Okay, done. Next, hence, find the function k67x. I think they purposely put 6, 7 here. I just want to troll with you guys. Okay, anyway, k67x. Right, so k square x, I think we just list it down now. Wait, okay, list it down like this. So kx is 5 over x, k square x is x, k cube x back to 5 over x, k power 4x would be back to x. Okay, because you can see the repeating pattern now. 5 over x, the next one is x, then 5 over x, then the next one is x, and so on. So this pattern will repeat. So what you can do is, to prove the pattern repeats, you can find k power 4x. So k power 4x is k of k cube x. So k cube x is 5 over x. So 5 over 5 over x. This one we found earlier already is equal to x. It's the same thing, same method here. K 5 over x, 5 over 5 over x, you get x. So you can straight away write this. So you can tell them, it's evident that it follows a pattern. So all the odd numbers, k power 1, k power 3, k power 5 and so on, is 5 over x. All the even number, k square, k4, are all x. So k67 is an odd number. So odd number means must follow this pattern, 5 over x. So k67x will be 5 over x. Don't forget your condition, x cannot be 0. this will be our final answer. Okay, so it just repeats the pattern over and over again. Done. All right, question 3. In a digital monitoring system, fire station A is located at this coordinate. Okay, so I'm going to write this here. A has a coordinate of -3, 2. And then fire station B is located at 5, 6. Alright. A fire hydrant is built on a straight road connecting fire station A and fire station B, such that its distance from fire station A is 3 times the distance from fire station B. Okay. So they connected a straight road. The fire hydrant is placed somewhere here where the distance from fire station A is 3 times the distance from fire station B. So this distance is 3 times this distance. So the ratio would be 3, 1. This is 3 times this distance. Okay, so 1 of this distance is 3 of this. Okay, so 3 to 1. All right. Find the coordinates of fire hydrant. All right, so here we have to use the X method, where this one you must times this one, and this you must times this coordinate. Okay. So this is question 3A. So you can say fire hydrant. I put FH lah, or let's just call this F, fire hydrant. So F coordinate, the coordinates of F would be 3 times 5 plus 1 times this X divide by 3 plus 1. Okay, and then the Y coordinate will be the same. 3 times this Y plus 1 times this Y divided by 3 plus 1. Okay, so you just remember the ratio you have to multiply with the furthest coordinate. So 1 you cannot times with this coordinate because this is near. So 1 you times with this X and this Y. 3 you must times with this X and this Y. Okay. So then we can find the values of F, the coordinates of F. Three times 5 plus 1 times -3 divided by 4. We get 3. Then 3 times 6, 1 times 2. We get 5. So the coordinates of F, the fire hydrant, is 3, 5. Done. Right. B. A fire station C will be built at coordinates, this one. Find the value of K if the area between A, B and C is 22 units. Okay. C is somewhere -2 K. So let's just assume C is here lah. Let's erase all this. Alamak. Just erase this enough. And okay. So C is let's say somewhere here. The coordinates of C would be -2 K. Right. So they say the area is 22 units. So here we have to use our area formula. So we can say area is 1/2 times all the coordinates. So coordinate A, coordinate B, coordinate C, and don't forget to repeat the first coordinate. negative 3, 2. Okay, so this will give us the area. Oops, too big. Okay, this will give us the area lah. So you have to cross, cross, cross. Area is given as 22, so I put 22 here. 1 over 2 modulus. So here we're going to get 3 times negative 6 plus 5 times k plus negative 2 times 2. Let's put 1 by 1 now. Minus this times this, this times this, this times this. So 5 times 2 is 10. Or you just write 5 times 2 first lah. And then plus negative 2 times 6. And then negative 3k. Close modulus. Something like this now. Yeah, okay. Modulus here should go up. Alright. Okay, then the 1 over 2, this is basically over 2, right? So you bring here, will become times 2. So 44 will be modulus of negative 18 minus 4, which is negative 22 plus 5k. Here we'll get 10 minus 12, which is negative 2. So negative 2 minus 3k. Sorry, in between here must be minus. Okay, so don't forget, it's this plus this plus this minus this, this, this. So in between is minus. Don't make the mistake that I almost made. So here is 44. Right, then we expand the bracket. So modulus negative 22 plus 5k plus 2 plus 3k. And then negative 22 plus 2 is negative 20. 5k plus 3k is 8. Okay. Right. Then the modulus, we can bring it over that side. So modulus, if you shift it, will become plus minus 44. So we can say negative 20 plus 8k is positive 44, or negative 20 plus 8k is negative 44. Okay, got two different answers. So let's solve here. 44 plus 20 is 64. So k will be 8. Here, negative 44 plus 20 is negative 24. K is negative 3. Okay, so here they already gave us the condition where k is more than 0. So this one cannot be lah. So we say reject. Okay, so k is 8. Done. Find the value of k. Yeah, that's it lah. Okay, you just can highlight that. That will be our final answer. And then finally C. Maybe once I'm done, like I can attach the, I think I'll attach the answers in PDF down in the description. Okay, let me know if you guys want it. Okay, C. Find the equation of the locus of moving point P such that its distance from fire station B is always 7 units. Okay, so B is here. P is moving such that it's always 7 units from this station. So if they say always 7 units means it's going to be a circle with a radius of 7. Because they said it's always 7 units. My circle a bit chat, but basically like this lah. 7, 7, always 7 units. So we need to find this equation, the equation of a circle. Okay. Hence state whether, okay, the hence part will come back later. Let's find the locus first. So to find locus, you always use a distance formula. So we can say, we can let coordinates P be x and y, because coordinates P is a moving coordinate, so it will be a variable. So from P, okay, let me just draw here. How do I draw a dotted line? Okay, let me just, okay, let's say it's this one. So this is P, okay, xy, moving coordinate P, it's moving in that circle. So the distance from this to this is 7. So we can say distance formula is square root of x2 minus x1 square plus y2 minus y1 square. It's basically Pythagoras theorem. So x1 is x, sorry, x2 is x2, x1, y2, y1 square root. Okay, so if you expand this, then I forgot, the distance is 7 now. So if you expand this, we will probably get the equation of the locus. Okay, so square root, you move it over here, will become square. So 7 square is 49. X minus 5 square plus y minus 6 square. Then we expand these brackets. X square, 2 times x is 2x. 2x times negative 5 is negative 10x. Negative 5 square is 25. Okay, so this is the shortcut. To expand this, the first term is x square, the last term is negative 5 square. And the middle term over here, okay, the middle term over here is 2 times the first term times the second term. Shortcut. Okay, then this one, y square, 2 times y is 2y, 2y times negative 6 is negative 12y. Negative 6 square will be 36, equals to 49. Right, then we can just rearrange all of them. So x square plus y square minus 10x minus 12y. 49 we can bring it over this side. So 36 minus 49 minus 13 equals 0. So this will be our locus of P. Okay, locus of P. Then, hence, state whether fire station C lies on the equation of the locus or not. Okay, so fire station C, we found the coordinate just now. K is 8 lah. So it's negative 2, 8. So we need to check if these coordinates are on this line or not. So we just sub in the values. So coordinates of C is negative 2, 8. So we sub this in. I'll just do it in pink lah. So x square, actually this one you cannot write p equals 2 lah. Okay, because you cannot have 2 equals 2 in one equation. So you just leave it like this. Right, so x square plus y square minus 10x minus 12y minus 13 equals to. So let's see if it tallies or not. Negative 2 square plus 8 square minus 10, negative 2, minus 12 times 8, minus 13. It's negative 21. So this whole thing is negative 21. That means it's not 0. So since this whole thing is not 0, we can say C does not lie on the locus P. Done. Okay, so if it lies on the locus P, if you add this up, must equal to 0. That means must tally lah, your left hand side and your right hand side must tally. Okay, done. Question 4. Show that this equals to this. Okay, let's try. Okay, so secant x, this is for A, secant x over 2 cos x minus sec x equals to sec 2x. Alright. Okay, so let's take the most complicated side. This one looks more complex. Oops. So we can take the left hand side. So we say left hand side is secant x over 2 cos x minus sec x. Okay. So sec x is 1 over cos x. The third alphabet is C, so it is 1 over cos x. So we can write this as 1 over cos x over 2 cos x minus 1 over cos x. Okay. So now we have fractions in fractions. So we have to simplify them. So this divide, okay, this fraction divide by this whole thing, right? So I'm just going to write it like this: 1 over cos x divide by 2 cos x minus 1 over cos x. Okay, basically this I just wrote it like this so that it's easier to solve. Okay, put this bracket now. Right, so here we can simplify it into one fraction by making the denominator same. So currently this denominator is 1. So if you want to make the denominator same, we times this by cos x. So if we times both of these with cos x, we will get 1 over cos x divide 2 cos square x minus 1 over cos x. Okay. Then, since now we already made it into one fraction and we have divide here, we can change this to times, then we swap this. Because fractions cannot divide, you can only times. So when you times, you swap your numerator and denominator. So cos x will go up here and 2 cos square x minus 1 here. Okay. Then this one and this one can cut off. So you get 1 over 2 cos square x minus 1. Okay. We need to prove it into sec 2x. Sec 2x is 1 over cos 2x. Okay, sec is 1 over cos. So sec 2x is 1 over cos 2x. So you go and find the cos 2x formula. Okay, if you here no formula sheet. Okay, but basically cos 2x punya formula is this. Okay, it's in the formula sheet lah. 2 cos square x minus 1 is cos 2x. So you can write this as 1 over cos 2x, which is equivalent to sec 2x. okay, which is the right hand side. So this is how to prove your left hand side equals to your right hand side. Proven, shown. Okay, you can write here shown. You want to put your signature here also can. Okay, but actually no need lah, just write like this enough already. Okay, right. B, don't put your signature, I'm just joking. Okay. B, sketch the graph of this for 0 to pi. Okay. So y 2 over sec 2x. Okay. Plus 2. Alright. So sec 2x is 1 over cos 2x. So I can write 2 over 1 over cos 2x plus 2. So 1 over cos 2x is, divide, I can just write it next to this, like this. Okay, whenever you see fractions in a fraction, it's very complicated actually. So you just change the divide, this over into divide lah. Simpler. Then once you have divide ready, right, you can just change it to times. Okay, you change to times and then you swap these two, numerator, denominator. So it will be cos 2x over 1. Okay, but no over 1 no need to write lah. So it's basically 2 cos 2x plus 2. This is what we need to draw. Okay, they just made our life a bit harder by not giving us straight lah. They just testing us whether we know how to convert this to cos or not. Okay, so 2 cos 2x plus 2. The amplitude is 2. The number of cycles is 2 plus 2. So what I like to do is, I always like to sketch at the side of what it might look like. So the first thing I'll sketch is the shape of a cos graph. So this is y equals to cos x. So if they say cos 2x, that means it goes 2 cycles. Cos 2x. So if 2 cos 2x, then our amplitudes will be 2 and negative 2. And then 2 cos 2x plus 2. That means the whole graph has to move up by 2 units. So this whole thing move up by 2 units means it will be something like this. Okay, so if I draw it like this, initially it was at 2, so you move up by 2 units, it will be at 4. The bottom part initially was negative 2, move up 2 units, it will be at 0. So your graph will be like this, from 0 to 2 pi. Okay, this is the full graph. But they want us to only draw from 0 to pi. So pi means until here. So you just erase this lah. Just erase this part. Okay. Once you sketch ready, now we can draw the actual shape, the actual final masterpiece. Okay. So we know we need 4 units up here. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Then draw this one. This is one part. And then another part. You know what? Okay, I'm just going to draw one shot now. 1, 2, 3. Pi. This will be half a pi. Okay. So remember, this one very common mistake. Most of the students, they draw one part. This is one part. Here you must draw 2 parts. So if from here to here is one part, here to here is one, here to here is another one. So here must be 2 parts, here must be 1 part. Then here must be 1 part. Okay. Most students will draw the graph like this. This one is wrong because this one is 1 part, this one looks like one more part, and this one is 1. This one is wrong. The graph should be thicker here. must be fatter here, because this is 2 parts lah. So cos graph got 4 parts altogether. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, don't forget that. Right, so this is B. Just label this X and this as Y. Done. We don't have place to do C. Okay, I'll split it here. So this sketching, the light blue one, the sketching, you can just do this on your question paper or an empty paper. Okay, don't show this to your examiner. Then they might know your secrets. Right, let's try C. Determine the value of M if this one has only one solution. Okay. So this is Y. Whenever you want to solve the number of solutions, right, we need the straight line and we need the Y inside this line. Then only we can solve. So we know 2 over sec 2x plus 2 equals to Y. We only want 2 over sec 2x. So this plus 2 you move here. Y minus 2 will equal to 2 over sec 2x. So we can say Y minus 2 equals to M. So I'm just going to say Y minus 2 equals to M. And they say this one has only one solution. Okay. So basically, Y equals to M plus 2, right? So M plus 2 is going to be a horizontal line. Because if Y is a constant, it's going to be a horizontal line. Okay, Y equals to 4 means your line will be like this. Y equals to 2 means your line will be like this. Y equals to 0 means your line will be like this. Okay, if Y is mx plus c, then only you'll have a slanted line. But since M plus 2 is a constant, right, it's a number, it's going to be a horizontal line. So you must find which horizontal line has only one solution. So if I put here, we have 2 solutions. We put here, also got 2 solutions. We put here only got 1 solution. So we are looking for this line. And this line is called Y equals 0. So we can say Y equals 0. So Y is M plus 2 and Y is 0. So you can say M plus 2 equals to 0, which means M is negative 2. Done. This will be the value of M lah. That's it. Question 5. Right, simplify this in a simplest surd form. Okay, so we have surd, this is 5a, surd 18p minus surd 8p, 8q. Okay, so surd 18, we can split it. Okay, this one you want to simplify, you need to show your working now. Of course, you do in your calculator can, but I think they want to see your working. So in your calculator, it will straight away give you answer lah. Surd 18, yeah, it gives you surd 302, but they want you to show how you got that. So 18 you must find is what times what. So 18 can be 6 times 3, or it can be 9 times 2. But if you take surd 6, surd 3, both also you cannot simplify. Surd 9, surd 2, surd 9 we can simplify. Surd 9 is 3. So we must take this pair. This pair cannot lah. Both also not surd number. So 18 I'm going to say this is surd 9 times surd 2. 8 on the other hand can be 2 times 4, can be 1 times 8. Surd 2 cannot, surd 4 can. Surd 1 can, but doesn't make any difference lah, because you're going to get surd 8 anyway. So this one cannot. So surd 8 is surd 2 times surd 4. Q. So surd 9 is 3. Then Z4 is 2. So I can write 2 Z2Q. In the simplest form means we try to factor out whichever is similar. So in this case, Z2 is similar. So I take out Z2, 3P minus 2Q. Done. Next, B. A group of biologists are studying the growth of a unique type of plant in a lab. The growth follows an equation where x is the height of the plant, t is the growth time in hours. So x will be the height, t will be the time. After 1 hour, express the size of the plant. Okay, so after 1 hour means our time is 1. So we sub the t with 1. Okay, then we simplify now. So in this case, for ln x, if you have ln and you have divide, we can split it into minus. So it will be ln x minus ln e cube plus 1 plus ln x cube. Okay. Now whichever power is here, we can bring it down. Oops. Here. So we get 4 ln x plus ln x minus 3 ln e plus 1. Where's the equal sign? I think I wrote. Okay, here should be equal sign. Equals to 1 plus 3 ln x. Right. So all the ln x we bring to one side. So you can say 4 ln x plus ln x minus 3 ln x. And then this one will become number, because ln e is 1. Ln is basically log base e. Okay, ln is log e. So if you have ln e is basically log ee. Log ee is 1 lah. Okay. Or you can just type in your calculator, you can just check. Ln e is 1. So it become, this will become, yeah. I just write the 1 first. Okay, 1 is here. This will become negative 3. So negative 3 we bring there, become positive 3 plus 3. Right. So 4 ln x plus ln x minus 3 ln x. We can imagine 4 apples plus an apple minus 3 apples. So 4 plus 1 minus 3. We get 2 apples, 2 ln x. 1 plus 3 is 4. So ln x is 2 divided by 4, which is 2. X will be, okay, ln, you move here, will become e to the power of 2. Because, let's say we have log ax equals to 5. Log a, you move here, will become a power 5. So ln is basically log base e. So log ex equals to 2. So x will become e, you move here, will become e square. So this answer now. X is e square. Done. It looks like a very difficult question, but actually you just have to substitute the 1 inside here lah. That's it. Then you make x the subject. Okay, here they are testing you whether you know the laws of log or not. Yeah. That's it. Done. Question 6. Okay, quadratic equation is given by this. Find the range of value of r such that the equation has imaginary roots. Imaginary roots means it doesn't have real roots. Okay, so let me explain. If your equation, if your curve is like this, it has two real roots. If your curve is like this, it has one root only, one real root. If your equation, if your graph is like this, it has imaginary roots because it doesn't intersect the y-axis, sorry, the x-axis, so it doesn't have real roots. So we call these imaginary roots. So for this one, b square minus 4ac will be more than 0, b square minus 4ac equals to 0, b square minus 4ac lesser than 0 because no roots. So we must use this equation to solve. Okay. So let's write down our equation first. We have x square plus x 2rx minus r square. We bring it all to one side, make one side equals to 0 lah. So minus 2rx plus r square equals 0. X square, this will be 1 minus 2rx. I factor out the x, so easier to see the a, b and c later, plus r square. So from here, our a is 1, our b is this one, 1 minus 2r, and our c is r square. Okay. Now we can solve a. This one is question 6. So since they say imaginary roots, we say b square minus 4ac less than 0. So b square minus 4ac less than 0. Then we expand and can find out. Let's do it. So here 1 square is 1. 2 times 1 times this, negative 4r. Negative 2r, you square this, plus 4r square. This one we expand, minus 4r square. So plus 4r square minus 4r square cancels off. 1 minus 4r less than 0. 1 is less than 4r. So 4 you bring here back. Okay, 4 I bring here back, it will become divide. So 1 over 4 is less than r. So I can rewrite it and say r is more than 1 over 4. Done. Okay. Alright. Then we do B. We change color lah, boring already. B we use pink. Okay. Given that the equation has roots alpha and beta, form the equation whose roots are alpha minus beta, beta. Okay. So here we have to use the SOR and POR. So our roots, okay, our all roots are alpha and beta. So our all sum of roots will be alpha plus beta. So we can say alpha plus beta is negative b over a. Okay, this is the formula now. And then our all product of roots will be alpha times beta, and product of roots will be c over a. Okay. So just now we already found the a, b and c. Then we just put it in now. So here b is this. So negative 1 minus 2r over a. C will be r square. So r square over a. Right, so the over one actually is no need to write, so can lah. Okay, so I just erase that. We already found R. No, wait. R is a range, so you can't use this. But memang they ask in terms of R lah, so just leave it in terms of R lah then. So we expand this, we get -1 plus 2R. This is just R square. Okay. Right. Now we do our new SOR. New SOR and our new POR. Right. New sum of roots will be this plus this. So you can say alpha minus beta plus beta minus alpha. Alpha minus alpha cancels off. Negative beta plus beta can, so it's just 0 lah. Nothing. Okay. New product of roots will be alpha minus beta times beta minus alpha. Alpha beta minus alpha square minus beta square plus alpha beta. Okay. So alpha beta plus alpha beta is 2 alpha beta. This one both also has negative, so we factor out the negative. We write alpha square plus beta square. Okay. So alpha plus beta we have, alpha beta we have. So alpha beta no problem, we can just straight away put it here. But here is alpha square plus beta square. Here they gave us, here is alpha plus beta only. So if you want to find alpha square plus beta square, you can't just square this, because alpha plus beta, if we just square it, you will get alpha square plus 2 alpha beta plus beta square. So alpha square plus beta square, okay, alpha square plus beta square is alpha plus beta square minus 2 alpha beta. Okay, with this one we throw it here, we can get alpha square plus beta square, which is what we want now. We want alpha square plus beta square. So you must do alpha plus beta square minus 2 alpha beta, like this. So I can write here 2 alpha beta minus alpha plus beta square minus 2 alpha beta. Okay, now we can sub in the values that we have. We have alpha beta is r square, so 2 r square. Alpha plus beta is this, so -1 plus 2r square. Alpha beta is r square, like this. Okay, so 2 times r square is 2r square. Then we expand this lah. I'm just going to open the bracket first, multiplying the negative in, I get plus 2r square. So 2r square plus 2r square is 4r square minus, okay, let's expand this. -1 square is 1, 2, -2 times 2r is -4r, then 2r square we get 4r square. So 4r square minus 1 plus 4r minus 4r square cancels off, so we get 4r minus 1. Okay, I just rearrange this lah. Okay, 4r minus 1. So this will be our product of roots after 3.5 years. Okay, basically, yeah. Why can't I extend this line? Oh no. Oh, okay. Right. Okay, now let's find our new equation. So our new equation, the general formula is x square minus SOR x plus POR equals 0. So x square, sum of roots is 0 lah. So no need to write anything. So some erase. This one is just 0. POR is 4R minus 1. So 4R minus 1. Form an equation whose roots are okay. So this will be our equation. If you want to write x square equals to negative 4R plus 1 also can. Okay, anything lah. Okay, as long as it's equivalent to this, it's accepted. So this will be our new equation. This one is quite, it's quite difficult, but it's actually very common. They like asking this all the time. Whichever, like, you see alpha plus beta square, right? You will most of the time use this thing. Okay, so it's kind of k-bar, but since it's repeated too many times, it's no more k-bar already. Okay, but if you're seeing this for the first time, then it might be a bit hard lah. But if you try more trial questions, you see this quite often. Alright. Question 7. Okay. Diagram 4 shows the plan of a rectangular pond ABCD managed by a farmer. The width and length are this and this. So the width is x, the length is the length is x, the width is this. Given the depth of the pond is x over 5. Okay, so that's the 3D image lah. Okay, so the pond is x over 5 meters deep. It's going inside. Find the value of x when area of the pond is maximum. Okay. So let's find the area. Area is given by the formula base times height lah. This is just a rectangle. And area, they say we use the alphabet L. So we sub this with L. Base is x. Height is 10 minus x over 2. So L, we expand this. L is 10x minus x square over 2. Right. They're asking us to find the area of the pond. Find the value of x when area is maximum. So when area is maximum, whenever you see the word maximum, minimum, turning points and all that, you must know dy dx is 0. So in this case, dl dx is 0. So we differentiate this now. 10x will become 10. X square minus 2, if you differentiate, okay, this one actually we can write it like this. We can write it as 1 over 2 x square. So when you differentiate this, 2 times 1 over 2 will become 1. And then minus 1 will become 1. So x to the power of 1 equals 0. Okay. Then making x the subject, x will be 10. That's all. 3 marks. Not bad. Right. B. Find the value of x. Okay. During the dry season, the pond water experiences evaporation at a rate of this much. So it's evaporating at this rate means your volume is decreasing by this much per second. because it's evaporating. So our dV dt will be 0.004, but since it's losing volume, you must add a negative here. Okay, so the rate of change of volume is this. How I know it's dV dt? One clue is just the units itself. The m cube represents volume. If m square means area lah. So this is m cube per second, so it's dV dt. They want us to find the rate of change of water depth when h is this. So rate of change of water depth. Whenever you see the word rate, it means it's over dt. Rate of change of depth means dh dt. So they want us to find dh over dt. So we make our own chain rule. The top one you must write here, the bottom one you must write here. This is chain rule. It always applies the same thing. So dh dt here. And then here I write something common. So in this case we have dl. So I'm just going to write dl here. Okay. This is our chain rule. So dl cannot lah. We have dv dt instead. So let's just use dv. Okay, because that rate is given, the volume, the rate of volume. So dv dt we already have, dh dv we don't have. So we have to figure that one out. So volume of this we need in terms of h. So volume, this is a cuboid, so let's find the volume first. Volume is base times height times width or length. So base is x, height is 10 minus x over 2. L is, we can call it the depth will be x over 5. Okay, so here we expand 10x minus x square over 2 times x over 5. So you're going to get, so we have to expand again. So 10x times this, we get 10x square over 5, which is basically 2x square. This times this, we will get x cube over 10. Okay, this is volume in terms of x. But if you want volume in terms of h, we need to sub the x with h. Okay, but we cannot just literally sub it with h. We need to find the relationship between h and x over 5. I mean h and x. So they already gave us that the depth is x over 5. So h is x over 5 means x will be 5h. So whichever got x here, we sub it with 5h. Okay. So 5h square is 25h square. And then here 5 cube is 125 h cube over 10. Then we expand this. 50h square minus 1 to 5 over 10, we can divide it by 5. 1 to 5 over 10 is 25 over 2 h cube. Right, so this is volume in terms of h. So now we can easily find dV dH. Then we can put it here now. So let's find dV dH. So you differentiate this. Differentiate means the power must times in front. So we get 100h. 3 times this one, we'll get 75 over 2h square. This is our dV dH. So now we can use our chain rule already lah. But our chain rule wants dH dV. So if dV dH is this, dh dv, you just do 1 over this. Inverse 100h minus 75 over 2 h square. This will be our dh dv. Okay, dv dh, you just swap lah. Okay, this is over 1. So when you swap, it will become 1 over. Right. So this one, we put it in here. dv dt, we already had it from earlier. So you sub these two, you can get dh dt. Okay, let me do at the side here so you can see. So dh dt will be 1 over 100h minus 75 over 2 h square times dv dt, which is this, negative 0.04. Okay, but here we have h, right? Here we have to sub with the instantaneous h. So the instantaneous h means the h they are asking for lah. So when h is 3 over 5. So you just sub the h here with 3 over 5. Times negative 0.04. It's really long. Okay. 1 over 100 times 3 over 5 minus 75 over 2 times 3 over 5 square times negative 0.04. And we get 0.04. 0.004. Okay. Here I made a typo. Our answer is negative 1 over 11,625. So since this is the rate of change of depth, it will be meters per second. Okay, but to be honest, the units you never write, so never mind. They don't care about the units for maths. Physics they do. But I like to write the units lah. It's just makes you think, makes you reconfirm what you're doing back. So here we are finding the depth, the rate of change of depth. So it's meters per second. 7 marks. Not bad. Alright, section B. Okay, I'm going to cut this video here. Then we'll continue back with section B after my class. Bye bye. And we're back. Alright, section B. So the first question here is linear law. In section B, every single paper, there will be one question for linear law with 10 marks. So this is a confirmed question every time it will come out. So let's try not to skip this question. So first here, they want us to draw a table for the values of log 10x and log 10y. So let's try to draw a table. Question 8a. Right, so this is log 10x against log 10y. Right. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That's one a bit longer already. Let me just adjust it. Alright. Okay, so we put our values in our calculator. We have log 10, 1.26, 0.10. Okay, so here you must write it in 2 decimal places. Correct the 2 decimal places. And then log 1.66, 0.22, log 2.04, 0.31, log 2.69, 0.43, log 3.72, 0.57, and log 5.25, 0.72. Okay, now we do the y-axis. Log 5.13, 0.71, 3.63, 0.56, 2.51, 0.40, 148, 0.17, 0.87. Oh, here we get negative 0.06, 2 decimal places. Okay, don't forget. And then log 0.54, we get negative 0.27. Okay, so in this graph we have negative values as well. All right, okay, this one A is done. Let's look at B. They want us to plot this log 10y against log 10x using 2 cm to 0.1 unit on both axes. Okay, here our x got no problem. X are all positive values, but y we have negative values as well. So our y-axis we can draw here because x got no problem, but x-axis cannot draw here because we have negative values. So our x-axis we have to bring up somewhere here. So let's check. They said 2 cm to 0.1 unit. So let's say we draw y first. Let me draw more accurately. Okay, so if here we need from negative 0.3 up to 0.8. So let's try 0.8, 0.7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, negative 0.1, negative 0.2, negative 0.3. Okay, perfect. So 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 means 0 will be here. So this will be our log 10 x, and this will be our log 10 y. All right, so this is 0, this will be 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8. Here will be negative 0.1, negative 0.2, negative 0.3. All right. Okay, then on the x-axis the same thing, 0.1, 0.2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, now let's try to plot. So x is 0.1, y-axis is 0.71, 0.1, 0.71 here, 0.22, 0.56, 22, 5, 6 here, and then 0.31, 0.4, 0.31, 0.4 here, 0.43, 0.17, 43, 0.17 here. Then we have 0.57 and negative 0.06, 0.57, negative 0.06 here. Yeah, and then 0.72 and negative 0.27. Negative 0.27 here. All right, so this is our graph. We need to draw a best fit line. So we already plot. Now drawing the best fit line. So what you do is you try to use your ruler and try to balance out the line. Okay. Here. This looks balanced. So here we have 2 points that are on the line, 2 points above the line, and 2 points below the line. So this is considered best fit line, and it's close to the line, very close to the line. So this would be a best fit line, and we're done. Next, C. Write this in linear form. All right, so let's try to linearize this. This one is B. So y equals to a over xb. So to linearize this, we need to match the x's. So here we have log 10 y and log 10 x, right? So here we don't have log 10 on both sides. So we times the whole thing by log 10. So we get log 10 y equals to log 10 a over xb. So what we can do is, since this is divide, we have divide, we can split it into minus. So log 10 a minus log 10 x power b. Then the power we can bring forward. So this will become log 10 a minus b log 10 x. Okay. Now to linearize, we need it to get in y mx plus c form. So we know our y-axis is this. This is our y-axis. This is our x-axis. You know what? Okay, I just label it. This is our y-axis. This is our x-axis. So if this is x, that means this will be mx plus c. So let's try to rearrange this to get a nice looking equation. So this will be log 10y negative b log 10x plus log 10a y mx plus c. Alright, so once we got it in linear form ready, we need to use the graph, find the values of a and b. So here log 10a represents the y-intercept, c is y-intercept. So log 10a we can find here. This is the y-intercept, 0.86. So we can say log 10a is 0.86. Therefore, a will be 10 to the power of 0.86. Because log 10, you move it that side, it will become 10 power this. So this one, 0.86. 10 power 0.86. We get 7.244. Is the value of a. Done. Okay. Then we need to find b. So negative b represents our gradient. So we need to find the gradient first, then only we can solve b lah. So to find the gradient, we take 2 points that are on the line, which is these 2 points. So this point is 0.1 and 0.71. The last point is 0.72 and negative 0.27. Okay, you just take the values from here, these two. Don't take any of these because these are all not part of the line. So what we have to do here is we have to draw a dotted line. I don't know how to draw a dotted line in my iPad, so I'm just gonna draw it in pink, but you guys draw a dotted line. Okay, the pink one's supposed to be a dotted line. Okay, so this shows you that you are finding the gradient using the graph. All right. So gradient is y2 minus y1, y2, y1, over x2 minus x1. Zero 0.71 minus 1 minus 0.72. We get negative 1.5806. Okay. So we can say negative b equals to our gradient, which is negative 1.5806. Therefore, b is 1.5806. Okay, the negative we can cancel off. So we get b as this. Okay, done. That's it. Actually, let's stick to 4 significant figures. Let's erase the last one. So 581 lah. That's enough. Since this one is in 4SF, this one's a 4SF. Done. That's it. This is how we do our linear law. Done. Next question. Question 9. Ooh, this is integration. Alright, let's see. So here we have a curve intersecting a straight line at point A. So this is our curve, this is the equation, this is our straight line, and this is the equation. And this is where they both intersect at point A. Find the values of h and k. Okay, so h is here, k is here. So at the point h is actually the y-intercept. So at point h we know x must be 0. Okay, x value here is 0. So what we can do, since h is part of this curve, we can use this equation. We sub in the x and y into this equation. So we can say x is y square minus 4. So x is 0, y is h. So h square is 4. H will be the square root of 4, which is 2. Okay, actually plus minus 2, but we just choose positive 2. Okay, why plus minus 2? Because when you square root a number, you must put plus minus. So here this graph, right, is a square root graph. If you extend this line, if you extend this line where x is 0, it cuts at two points here. This will be positive 2, this will be negative 2. Okay, so since we only want the positive part of the set graph, we just take 2 lah. Done. Then we find k. So k is also part of the curve. So we can straight away put this into this as well, sub it. Or we can actually use this equation also, because this point passes through the straight line as well. So any 2 lah will give you the same answer. Let's just stick to the same equation, which is easier. So y is 3, x is k, y is 3. So k is 9 minus 4, k is 5. Done. Okay, I just substituted the x and y into this equation. This is x, this is y. Done. Alright. B. Area of shaded region. Okay. So here we want to find the area of this region. Okay, so what we can do is we can find this region here minus of this region. That's one way of doing it. Or we can find this region, this region minus of this region. Okay, why do I say these particular regions? Is because when you integrate a curve, the curve from here, from this point to this point, you'll get the whole area. Then when you integrate the straight line from this point to this point, you'll get this area. So if you minus these two areas off, you will get the shaded region. Okay. Or if you want to use the y limits also can. You integrate the straight line, you'll get this whole region. And then you integrate the curve from this to this point, you'll get this region. Then you minus off, you get the answer. So let's just take x axis lah. Okay. So what we do is we can say integrate. Okay, before that, for area you have two formulas. You can integrate x dy or you can integrate y dx. So depending on which limits you're using, you choose the formula. So here, since we have decided to choose the x limits, we use dx. That means integrate y dx. So you can say area is integral of y dx minus integral of y dx. So the first y dx will be the curved line, and then the second one will be this one. Okay, because the curved line will give us the whole area, and then minus of the straight line. So I'm going to write here curve minus the straight line. Okay. So integrate the curve's equation is this. So we need to make y the subject. So y square is x plus 4. Y will be the square root of x plus 4. Square root x plus 4 dx. And our limits will be from here to here. So here x is 0, here x is 5, which is k. Okay, just now we found k is 5 lah. Right, so from 0 to 5 minus straight line will be this equation. So y is already the subject, so we can say 3 over 5x from 0 to 5 as well. Same limits lah. Okay, then we continue. So here we have square root. So the easiest way to integrate is by changing it to power. The square root is power 1 over 2. So we can write this as power 1 over 2. Now we can easily integrate. So integrate means you plus the power with 1. So 1 over 2 plus 1 is 3 over 2. And then the denominator you divide by the power. And then you must times the first derivative of inside here. That means you differentiate inside here. We differentiate inside here, 1x will just give us 1. Done. 5, 0. Okay. And then this side, when you want to integrate this, the 3 over 5, nothing happens to it. X power you add 1, then divide by the power. 5, 0. Okay. Now we substitute. So 5 plus 4 power 3 over 2 over 3 over 2 minus 0 plus 4 3 over 2 over 3 over 2 minus 3 over 5 square over 2 minus 0. Because when you sub 0 here, the whole thing is going to be 0 lah, because 0 times anything is 0. But here you must be careful. Here the whole thing won't be 0 because it's 0 plus 4, which will give us 4. So that one you have to be careful. Most students, they just see 0, they won't write it. They just straight away assume it's 0. Okay, you have to be careful. Sometimes it's not 0. Alright, so 5 plus 4 power 3 over 2 over 3 over 2. We get 18 minus here 0 plus 4 is 4 power 3 over 2 over 3 over 2. Here we get 16 over 3 minus 3 over 5 times 5 square over 2. We get 15 over 2. Alright. So 18 minus 16 over 3 minus 15 over 2. We get 31 over 6 units square. This will be the shaded region's area. Done. Okay, so if you do the other way, the other one also you're supposed to get the same area. Okay, if you do that whole triangle minus this shaded region. Alright, let's look at C. Find the volume of revolution in terms of pi when the shaded region is revolved through 270 degrees above the x-axis. Okay. So here currently we need to find the volume. Volume's formula will be pi x square dy or pi y square dx. So if you are using the x limits, we use dx, this formula. If you're using y limits, dy, this formula. Okay, so you have to check the limits lah. But since here they said revolving about the x-axis, which is this axis, that means it's revolving like this. So you need to use the x limits. So using x limits means this is our formula. Okay, so you want to find the volume of shaded region, same thing. You find the volume of the curve revolving 360 first, and then the straight line revolving 360. Then you minus off. Okay, but here they didn't say 360. We'll come back to this in a while. Okay, let's assume it's 360 first. So the volume will be pi y square dx minus pi y square dx. Alright, so the first one would be the curve. This one will be the straight line. Okay, because the curve's volume will be bigger. The curve means the whole thing, revolve 360. And then the straight line, revolve 360. So you minus them off, you will get this one. Okay, so now since they said 270 degrees, what we can do is, if it revolves 360, okay, let's say it's a cylinder like this. This is revolving 360 degrees, 360 degrees. If they want 270 degrees, that means they want from here until here only. Means this is 3/4 of the whole 360. So this area, this volume is going to give you 360 degrees. But since we want only 270, we just times the whole thing with 3/4. 3/4 of the whole thing. Okay. So now we sub it in 3/4. Since both of these got pi, I'm going to factor out the pi. So integrate y square dx of the curve. So curve y square is x plus 4. No need to square because here y already square, x plus 4. Then for the straight line, y square will be this whole thing square. So y square is 3 over 5x squared. So 3 over 5 square will be 9 over 25 x squared. So here will be 9 over 25 x square dx. Then we put the limits in. The limits would be same lah. From here, this is 5, this is 0. So 5, 0, 5, 0. Alright, so let's try to integrate this. 3 over 4 pi remains here. When you integrate x, you get x square over 2. Integrate 4, we get 4x. 5, 0. Minus 9 over 25. Here x square, we integrate, you get x cube over 3. From 5 to 0. Okay. So 3 over 4 pi. Then we just substitute inside lah. So this will become 5 square over 2 plus 4 times 5 minus, okay, when you sub in 0, you'll just get 0. Okay, but actually the best practice is showing the examiner lah. So you put 0 square over 2 plus 4 times 0 okay, then minus, this side will be 9 over 25 5 cube over 3 minus 9 over 25 0 cube over 3. Alright, then we calculate this. So this whole thing is going to be 0. Okay, so just ignore that. We just put this in our calculator. So we have 5 square over 2 plus 4 times 5. This will give us 65 over 2. And then minus this guy. So this will also be 0. So you just minus this. 9 over 25 times 5 cube over 3. We get 15. So minus 15. So 65 over 2 minus 15, we get 35 over 2. So this 35 over 2 we times with times 3 over 4. We get 105 over 8 pi. Since this is volume, it's units cube. Cubic units. Done. Okay, this part looks a bit long, but it's just basically substitution. Okay, you just substitute the 5 inside and 0 inside. That's it. This will be C. Done. Alright, next question. So here we have probability distribution. So I already included a table there later. We can use that now. Alright, question 10. A factory produces electronic components for televisions. It's found that 7% of the components are defective. Okay. If 15 components are selected, calculate probability of exactly 4 are faulty. Faulty and defective is the same thing now. Okay. So here, probability of it being faulty is 7%. So percentage, we can write it in decimals, 0.07. Okay, 7 over 100 lah. So probability of success is this. Probability of failure would be 93%. So 0.93. 100% minus 7%. Okay. So here we want to find exactly 4 components are faulty. So this is binomial distribution. So the formula will look something like this. What's the formula? Okay. Our n in this question is 15 because out of 15 components we are selecting, we want to choose 4 that are faulty. Okay. So x equals to 4. So out of 15, we see 4. P is 0.07. Q will be 0.93 power 15 minus 4. 15C4 4 and 3 power 15 minus 4 is 11. 0.01475. Okay. This is the probability of 4 components being faulty. So here, since we want to find faulty, our probability of success is faulty lah. Okay. Number 2. At most, 13 components are not faulty. Okay. So the probability of success here will be different compared to this. Because here they want us to find not faulty. Not faulty means our probability of success will be 93%. Because the components being not faulty is 93%. So probability of failure would be this, 0.07. It's basically 1 minus 0.93. Okay. So here we want at most. At most means lesser than or equals to 13. At least means 13 or more. At most means 13 or lesser. That means maximum can be 13. Right. So here you want to find the probability means you have to find probability of 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 until 0. Which is a lot of calculations to do. Basically you have to do all these and plus each other. So obviously we're not going to do that. We are going to do the shortcut. So altogether we have 15 components to select. So our probabilities would be 15, 14, 13, 12, 11 until 0. So if you want to find the probability from here to here, the easiest way would be total probability minus these 2. So the total probability is 1. Okay, any probability question, total probability must be 1. So total probability minus probability of getting 15 and 14 will give us all this. So we do 1 minus probability of x equals to 14 and x equals to 15. Okay. So same formula, 15C14, just that our P and Q is different lah. P is 0.93. Minus 15C15 0. Okay. So remember, this is n, this is r. Here will be n minus r. That means 15 minus 14. Here 15 minus 15, you get 0. We just type this all in our calculator. 15C14, 0.93 power 14 times 0.07. 0146. 15C15 power 15. So 0.07 power 0 in order to type in your calculator because it just gives us 1. Done. So 1 minus 0.380146 minus this answer 0.2839. Okay, done. That's it. So top part is binomial. Most probably the bottom part would be normal distribution. Okay, let's see. So B, the lifespan of the television panels produced follow a normal distribution with mean is 2000, variance this much. Okay, so mean is 2000, variance is 7500. So the standard deviation will be the square root of variance, which is square root of 7500. Okay, find the probability that a randomly selected television panel has lifespan between this and this. Alright, so between means we must write like this: between 1850 and 2150. This is the question. Okay, they want us to find between this and this. So to do this kind of questions, we can't use X. We have to convert it to a standard table. Because a standard table only we can use the table here given in your exam. This is a standard table called the Z graph. So from here only we can find the probability lah. So to convert X to Z graph, the formula is given in your exam. Z is X minus mean over standard deviation. This is the formula. Okay, so we use that lah. So here our X is this. So X minus mean, this is our mean, divide by standard deviation. This one. Here also same thing, X minus mean divide by standard deviation. Okay, so we calculate 1850 minus 2000 divide by 7500, negative 1.732. To 150 minus 2000 over cert 1.732. So we need to find between 1.732 and negative 1.732. So between means we need to find this area. Okay, so here we obviously need the help of the table lah. Okay, this will be 0. Alright, so in this table one thing you have to know is the table only shows us more than this value. So let's say here is 1.732. The table will show us the area more than. Here we don't need the more than, we need area in between here. We don't need this area. But no choice, from the table we can only find this. So what we can do is, we can find this area and this area will be same. Because both also 1.732, 1.732. So since this graph is symmetrical, this area same, we do total area, which is 1, minus this, we will get this. Okay, total area under the graph, this whole area is 1. So 1 minus these 2, we will get the answer. So we can say 1 minus PZ more than 1.732, which is this area. Okay, so let's find that area now. 1.7 is here. 3 is here. Okay, this one is 3. And then 2. 2 means we have to minus the last digit by 2. So 0.418, the last digit you minus 2 means you get 0.0416. Okay. Oh, sorry, I forgot. This one we have to times 2. Because this area, we must times 2. So we put here 2. 2 of this. Okay, that means this area is 0.0416. This area is also 0.0416. Okay, so we have to times 2 times of that. So 1 minus 2, we get 0.9168. Done. That's the probability between 1850 and 2150. Alright, the next one. Given that 2.5% of the television components have a maximum lifespan of k hours, find the value of k. Okay. So let's just sketch this here. They said 2.5% maximum lifespan k hours. So the whole graph is 100%. 2.5% will be here. 2.5% has a maximum lifespan of k. So it should be something like this. K will be somewhere here. So 2.5%, we can convert it to decimals. It will become 0.025. Okay, it's just 2.5 over 100. Okay, so here what we can do is we can say probability of x lesser than k is 0.025. Okay, x being less than k hours is 0.025. So what we can do is now we can convert this to standard as well. So we want to convert this to standard. X minus mean over standard deviation. And then this value also we have to convert to z-score. So this one we have to use the table. We have to find which area corresponds, which z-score corresponds to this area. But remember, our table will give us more than. So when we find the area 0.025 here, it will give us the z value that is here, more than. Okay. So let's find the area 0.025. 0.0250 here. So this is 1.96. So here we must write this area is P Z more than 1.96. 1.96, right? Yeah. Okay, why more than? Why is it more than? Okay, you have to remember this this part and this part no need to relate. Here can be less than, can be more than, can be equals to, doesn't matter. You don't look at this. When you're using the table to find area, right, it is always PZ more than. Because all these areas are for PZ more than the Z-score. More than. So once you get this ready, now if you want to compare, of course we can't compare because one is less than, one more is more than. So we have to make the symbols same. So to make the symbol same, we can switch this to less than by adding a negative. Okay, so less than negative. Why less than negative? Because when z is 1.96, when z more than 1.96, we get 0.025. But since this graph is symmetrical, when it is negative 1.96, we will also get the same area. So we can say Z more than positive 1.96 is the same as Z less than negative 1.96. Pz less than negative 1.96. Okay, now we can compare because this is less than, so we can compare this with this. So I'm going to write it here. K minus 2000 over cert this equals to negative 1.96. Here we just compare and we can find K. So it will be negative 1.96 times 7,500 plus 2,000. 1,830 hours. Done. So you can round up because it's just the number of hours. Done. That's it. This will be question 10. Done. Alright. Next question. Vectors. Okay, let's see. So diagram 6 shows a triangle POQ. This is triangle POQ. Point U, okay. OU to UQ is 1 to 5. OU to UQ is 1 to 5. So this is 1, this is 5. And then PW to WQ is 3 to 2. PW to WQ, 3, 2. Then they gave us OQ is 24x. OQ, this vector is 24x. And then OP is 7y. OP, 7y. Okay. So all the information here we already transferred. Done. Now we can start doing the question. So question 11. Question 11, A1. In terms of x and y, find PU. Okay, so from P to go to U, we can do PO plus OU. So we already know OP. OP is 7y in this direction. So PO would be the opposite direction. So just add negative. So negative 7y. OU we don't have the vector, but we have the whole vector of OQ. And OU is a fraction of this vector. So it's 1 out of 6 of the whole vector. So we can say it's 1 out of 6 of OQ. And OQ is 24x. So 106 times 24 is 4x. So we rearrange this, 4x minus 7y. Done. Alright. Next. Let's do OW. OW is from here to here. So we can do OQ plus QW. We want to do the other way, so cannot OP plus PW. You will get the same answer. Let's just choose one. Let's just say OQ plus QW. Alright. OQ we already have. OQ is just 24x. QW will be the fraction of QP. So QW is 2 out of 5 of QP. So QP will be QO plus OP. So QO plus OP, I write it like this. Q, if OQ is 24x, QO will be negative 24x, the opposite direction. OP is just 7y. Then we expand and simplify. 2 over 5 times negative 24. We get negative 48 over 5 x. Then 2 over 5 times 7 is just 14 over 5 actually. 14 over 5. Alright. Then the x's we can plus together. 24 minus 48 over 5. We get 72 over 5x plus 14 over 5y. Done. That's it. Right. Now let's write b. So using OV is this and PV is this, find the value of H and K. Okay, these kind of questions, we have to define one vector in terms of H and in terms of K. So the easiest vector, we just choose one of the ones they gave lah. So we define OV in terms of H and in terms of K. So OV is H of OW. OW is just this. Plus 14. Okay, you know what? It's easier to write it in matrix form. So let me write this in matrix form. H. X will be 72 over 5. Y will be 14 over 5. So if you expand inside, it's just 72 over 5h and 14 over 5h. Okay, this is OV in terms of h. Now we find OV in terms of k. So to find OV in terms of k, we have to lalu one of these vectors, either PV or PU. So let's see, you want to go from O to V, we can do OP plus PV. OP is 7y, PV is given as K of PU. Okay. PU I think just now we already found. There is here. PU is this, 4x minus 7y. So you can say 4x minus 7y. Okay, then we expand. 7y plus 4kx minus 7ky. So we rearrange the x, we write it in front. Y we can factor out, so we get 7 minus 7ky. Okay, then we convert this to matrix form also lah, easier to see. So x is 4k, y will be 7 minus 7k. So as you can see, we have OV in terms of H and OV in terms of K. So if the same vector we have in both terms, now we can say this equals to this. That's the whole idea. So I see most students actually, they will just do this and then they will do this. They will find OV, then they will find PV, and after that they don't know what to do. So actually the question is, the solution is, you have to find one vector in both terms. Okay, now we compare lah. So we can say this equals to this. So 72 over 5h equals to 4k, and this equals to this. So 14 over 5h equals to 7 minus 7k. Then here we have to simultaneous. Okay, so let's try to make k the subject here. So we bring 4 over this side. So k will be 72 over 5 divided by 4. We get 18 over 5h. Then we sub this into this k. So 14 over 5h is 7 minus 7k. Then we expand. Seven times 18 over 5. 126 over 5h. Then the h we bring together. So 14 over 5 plus 126 over 5. We get 28h is 7. Therefore h is 7 over 28, which is 1 over 4. Okay. Once we find h ready, then you sub this in back here to find k. So k will be 18 over 5 times 1 over 4. Nine over 10. So you can say h is 1 over 4, k is 9 over 10. Done. Three plus 8 marks only. Okay. The other 2 marks is missing. Oh, maybe we don't have that here. Oops. Wait, let me find. Okay, so the question C is not given. I don't know why it went missing here. Okay, so question C is basically another 2 marks. So they said given that surd x is 2 units. Okay, sorry, not surd x, modulus of x. Modulus y is 3 units. And they gave us POQ, angle POQ is 90 degrees. Find the magnitude of PQ. Alright. So this is the question. I don't know how it went missing here. Okay, but let's try to solve this. So they said the magnitude of x is 2 units, magnitude of y is 3 units. And angle POQ is 90. So this is a right angle triangle. Okay, this is right angle triangle, here 90. Find the magnitude of PQ. So here we can just use Pythagoras theorem to find this magnitude. So x is 2 units means this is 24 times 2. Y is 3 units, so this will be 7 times 3. So Pythagoras theorem, you can say magnitude of PQ is square root of a square plus b square. So a square would be 24 times 2 square. B square will be 7 times 3 square. So 24 times 2 is 48. Just right here, 48 square. 7 times 3 is 21. 21 square. Square root of 48 square plus 21 square, we get 52.393 units. This will be the magnitude of PQ. Okay, basically it's just Pythagoras theorem. This length would be 24 times 2 because they said magnitude of x is 2. This length will be 7 times 3. So this one a square plus b square, we get c square. That's it. Done. 10 marks. Question 12. Okay. So here we have section C, 4 questions in section C, but you only need to answer 2 questions lah. So you just choose either 2, then you can answer. But I'll try to show you all 4. Right, so let's look at question 12. This looks like a kinematics question. Form 5, the last chapter, chapter 8. So here they said particle moves along a straight line from fixed point O. Diagram 7 shows the velocity time graph of the particles. Assume motion to the right is positive. So here our velocity is positive, okay, above 0 lah. So these are all to the right. Down here, our velocity is all negative, so the particle is moving to the left. A. State the time in seconds when the particle changes its direction. Okay, so from here to here it moves to the left, from here to here it moves to the right, so it changes direction here when t equals to 8. So 12a, t is 8 seconds. Okay, when 8 seconds into his journey, he changes direction. Okay, then let's try B. It's given that the velocity time graph, it's given that the velocity time graph is a quadratic function. So this is a quadratic graph. Show that this equals to this. Okay, so if you want to determine your quadratic graph, when you have the roots, it's very easy. Okay, you just put in t minus 0, t minus 8. Okay, these are the roots. But you have to add a in front. Okay, because we don't know the constant in front. We know the roots, we don't know a. So you put an a in front. The quadratic graph is this. Okay, this is your y. This is x. Right, so let's solve this. So here if we want to find the value of a, then we can write it as a function like this lah. So to find the value of a, we need other coordinates other than the roots. Okay, another coordinate other than these two. You can't take these two. So there is one coordinate given here, which is 10, 14. So we can use this. This is x, this is y. So we sub this inside here. T is 10. Then here you can solve a. So 10 minus 0 is 10. 10 minus 8 is 2. 10 times 2 is 20. So 20a equals to 14. Therefore a is 14 over 20. 14 over 20 is basically 7 over 10. So we can rearrange this and say v is 7 over 10. T minus 0, you just write t. T minus 8. Shown. Done. That's it. So if you want to form quadratic equations using the roots, you just do reverse. Normally when we factorize, we will get t equals to 0, t equals to 8. And then we write this inside the bracket, we put t minus 0, t minus 8. Then if you expand this, you will get your quadratic. That's exactly what we're doing here. Just that whenever you factorize, you will have a constant in front. So this constant we need to find now. That's it. Done. Okay, next one. Find the time in seconds when the acceleration is 7. Okay. So since this is a velocity time graph, acceleration will be change in velocity over change in time. That means dv dt will give us our acceleration. So they said acceleration is 7. So we can say our dv dt equals to 7. So we need to find the time now. So we know v is this, then we can find dv dt. So we can say v equals to 7 over 10t, expand here, we get 7 over 10 t square minus 7 over 10 times negative 8. Oops. Negative 28 over 5. Okay, so this is v. Then from here we can find dv dt. dv dt would be 7 over 5 t minus 28 over 5. Okay, so since they said acceleration is 7, that means dv dt is 7, so we put 7 here. Then from here you solve lah. So 7, this one you bring here, become plus 7 plus 28 over 5, divide by 7 over 5. So t is 9. So when t is 9, somewhere here, your acceleration, your dv dt is 7. Okay, so basically this one you don't have to memorize, you just have to understand. Acceleration is the rate of change of velocity. So it's dv over dt. So when they say acceleration is 7, that means dv dt is 7. Okay. Done. Find the total distance traveled by the particle from the first time it reaches minimum velocity until 10 seconds. So first time it reaches minimum velocity. Minimum velocity means the lowest velocity here. So they're asking us the distance traveled from here until here. From here to here. Okay. So if we have velocity time, okay, so if we have velocity time, if you want to find the distance, you need to find area under the graph. Okay, if you have velocity time graph, okay, in a velocity time graph, if you want to find the distance traveled, you need to find area under the graph. So we need to find this area plus with this area. But before we find this area, we first need to know what is this coordinate. Okay, since this is a quadratic graph, 0, 8 here, right? The middle, the minimum point here will be at the middle. So 0 plus 8 divided by 2 is 4. So here is 4 seconds. So we need to find the area from 4 to 8, and then the area from 8 to 10, we have to add them up. Okay. Right. This is 3, B3. So to find the area, okay, you can say distance is integral. Okay, to find area under the graph here, we are using our x limits. So we use y dx plus y dx. Okay, so this is between 4 and 8. This is between 8 and 10. But between 4 and 8 here, your area will be negative because this is underneath the y-axis. So here we get negative area, but our distance is not negative. So we have to make it positive. So we put a modulus here. So when you modulus it, meaning whatever negative value you get here, we convert it to positive. Here no need to put modulus because it's already positive. Okay. Now we do lah. So instead of y dx, actually this would be v dt, because our axis is not y and x. Our axis is v and t. Alright, so we already have the equation of v dt. V is this. Actually we can use this one, the expanded version, easier. Let's put it here. So modulus 84 7 over 10 t square minus 28 over 5 t dt plus 10 to 8, same thing. I'm going to copy this. Oops. All right. Now we integrate this. So 7 over 10 remains 7 over 10. T square will be t cube over 3. 28 over 5 remains. Okay, whichever constant number just remain. T will become t square over 2. From 8 to 4. Plus, same thing. I'm just going to copy it. Okay, because here you integrate the same thing, you get the same thing, but just that our limits are from 10 to 8 lah. Okay, then don't forget the modulus. All right. Now we just sub it in. So you sub the 8 inside and the 4 also inside. So 7 over 10, 8 cube over 3 minus 28 over 5 times 8 square over 2 minus 7 over 10. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to copy it again. So this one, okay. I just have to sub the 8 with 4. Okay, this is the first part. Then we have to modulus this, don't forget. Plus, now we have to do this part. So it's the same thing, but without the modulus. Then our limits also must change. Our limits will be from 10, this will be 10, this will be 8. Okay. Right. Now we have to calculate. So 7 over 10 times 8 cube over 3 minus 28 over 5 times 8 square over 2. So you get modulus of negative 896 over 15 minus, now sub the 8 with 4, we get minus negative 448 over 15 modulus plus, now we do the bottom part. So sub this with 10, we get negative 140 over 3 minus, then when we sub with 8 just now earlier, these two will be the same answer lah, which is this. So minus negative 896 over 15. Alright. So negative 896 over 15 minus negative 448 over 15. We get negative 448 over 15. But since it's modulus, you don't take the negative lah. So it's 448 over 15 plus negative 143 over 3 minus negative 896 over 15. Here we get 196 over 15. So our total area will be 644 over 15. Done. This will be the total distance traveled by the particle from the first time it reaches minimum velocity until t is 10. Okay, so here you must make sure you don't make any careless mistakes lah. Okay, to get this. Alright, let's try the next question. 13. Diagram 8 shows a pyramid with its triangle base placed on a horizontal plane. So this is the base, it's triangular and it's placed on the horizontal plane. The length of sides FD and ED are given. By using a triangle FED, derive the sine rule. Okay, so we need to use this triangle FED. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw this triangle. Like this. This is F, this is E. Let's put D up here. So here we have a dotted line. This makes up this splits this into two right angle triangles. So here's a 90, here's a 90. So whenever you want to use sine or cosine, you need right angle triangles. So that will be the first step. Then we label, they said FD is E, this is F. Right. So now we want to use the sine rule. So here we want to prove the sine rule. So here they use angle E, angle F. This is angle E and angle F. Okay, let's try using angle E first. So from angle E, this will be the adjacent, this will be the opposite, this will be the hypotenuse. So to solve the sine rule, we need to use opposite and hypotenuse. So we say sine theta is O over H. So sine of E will be opposite, which is this one. Let's just call this X. So sine E is X over hypotenuse F. And then sine F will be opposite over hypotenuse as well. So X over E. So from here, if you want to equate them, we can try to make X the subject. So F you times here, X will become F sine E. Here so we times the E here, X will become E sine F. Since now we have X is this and X is also this, we can say this equals to this. So F sine E equals to E sine F. Then we can divide now. So since they want E on top here, we divide the F here. And the sine F goes here, becomes divide. So E over sine E. Oh, we divide the sine E actually, easier. Then sine F goes here, becomes divide. Equals to F over sine F. Done. So you can rearrange this in the exact form that they gave us. And then you can say shown. Oh, actually no need lah. Just leave it like this. Because they ask us to derive. Okay, done. That's it. That's the sine rule. Okay, basically you just have to use your right angle triangles. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Then you do the same thing over here, opposite over hypotenuse. Then you can solve already lah. Alright, next one, B. Vertex C is vertically above D. So here this one is vertically above D. Given that angle DFE is 38, angle DFE is 38, okay. And then FD is 12, F to D is 12. FE is 10. Okay. And CFD is 52 degrees. CFD is here. So this one is 52 degrees. Find the length of DE. Okay. So we want to find this length. Alright, so we have this triangle. We have two lengths, we have one angle, we have three informations. We can easily find the fourth one. So I normally remember it like this. If the question involves three lengths and one angle, use the cosine rule. If two lengths, two angles, is the sine rule. So in this case, 1, 2, this is the length we are finding. So we have three lengths, one angle. So cosine rule. So cosine rule is a square equals to b square plus c square minus 2bc cos a. So the angle A is here, so the length A would be this. So you can say DE square is 12 square plus 10 square minus 2 times 10 times 12 cos 38. So 12 square plus 10 square minus 2 times 12 times 10 times cos 38. So DE square is this. Then we have to square root this answer. So DE is 7.4079. Done. Okay, or you can write this if you want. DE is the square root of this whole thing. Yeah, this will be much better. Okay, so you just put the whole thing, you get your answer. Alright, so here we have our newfound information. DE is 7.4079 cm. Okay. Next, find the length of CE. CE is here. Okay. So we have this triangle, and then we have this triangle. Both are also right angle triangles because they said C is vertically above D. That means CFD here will be right angle, and then this triangle CED here will be right angle. Okay. So now using this right angle triangle, we have angle, we have adjacent, we can find the opposite, which is CD. Once we find CD already, we have CD, we have this length, we can easily find the hypotenuse. Okay. So let me draw it here. First I'm going to draw a triangle CDF. So you can get a better understanding now. This is 12 cm. This is 52 degrees. So if you want to find this length, right? This is opposite. This is adjacent. So we can use SOHCAHTOA because right angle triangle. Right angle triangle unlocks two formulas. One is SOHCAHTOA, one more is Pythagoras theorem. So every time you see right angle triangle, you must remember these two formula. Okay. So opposite and adjacent, we use tangent. So we say tangent theta is opposite over adjacent. So tangent 52 will be CD over 12. So CD will be 12 times tangent 52, which is 15.359. Okay, so this one is 15.359. Right, now we can solve this triangle because we have another right angle triangle. So I'm going to draw this again. So this triangle, I'm going to draw it like this. Oops. Okay. This is C, this is D, this is E. Okay, I imagine this triangle, I opened it up like this lah. Okay, I flipped it here. So CD is 15.359. ED is given 7.4079. We can easily find this one. Right angle triangle. So we can use Pythagoras theorem. And to solve CE, we do Pythagoras theorem. This one square plus this one square, we will get this hypotenuse. So CE is the square root of 15.359 square plus 7.0479 square. So square root 15.359 square plus 7.0479 square. We get 16.899. Sorry, 40. So wrong. 4079. Almost made a big blunder. We get 17. We get 17.052 cm. Done. That is our length of CE. So CE here 17.052. Okay, done. Next, they want us to find the angle CFE and hence determine the area of triangle CFE. Okay, so the angle CFE is here, this angle. This angle is not 52 plus 38. Most students did that, I saw, but 52 is on the vertical surface, 38 is on the horizontal surface, it's on the floor. So this one and this one, you cannot add up lah. It doesn't give you. This is a whole complete different surface. So to solve this, we look at this triangle. Okay, we have two information on it, so cannot solve that one. So we try to get more information. We can use the help of the back triangle. Since this is a right angle triangle, we have this length, we have this length, we can easily find the length of CF. Let's do it here. So we can say CF is the hypotenuse, right? So A square plus B square. So it's the square root of 15.359 square plus 12 square. (19.49 cm). So CF is 19.49. Okay, now we have three different lengths on this triangle. So we can try to solve already. Let me draw this triangle here. Okay. This is C, this is F, and this is E. This length is 17.052. This length is 19.49. This one is 10 cm. Right. We need to find this angle here. So here we have three lengths, one angle, cosine rule, like this now lah. So the cosine rule is A square equals to B square plus C square minus 2BC cos A. So since this is our angle A, this will be our corresponding length A. This one can be B and C lah. So 17.052 square is 10 square plus 19.49 square minus 2BC cos CFE. Okay, so if you want to make cos CFE the subject, it will be this 2, you bring here, will become minus. So 17.052 square minus 10 square minus 19.49 square divided by this. Because we bring these two here, become minus first, and then this and this is related by times. So once this one all gone ready, you want to bring this number here, must become divide. So divided by negative 2 times 10 times 19.49. This is also another careless mistake students always make. They minus all this and then they get the wrong answer. So remember, this one is one single term because it's related by times. So when you want to bring this over here, it will become divide. Right. So put this all in our calculator. We get this. So shift cost answer. Our CFE is 60.98 degrees. Done. That's it. Okay, that is angle CFE. Yeah. Right. Once you get the angle ready, we can find the area of triangle CFE. So once we already get this angle, we can just do 102 AB sine C. So area will be 102 AB sine C. A is 10, B is 19.49, sine 60.98. We get 85.215. So you can say 85.22 cm square. Done. That's it. So the values you get, the final values you get will be a bit different if you take, let's say, 3 decimal places. I took 4 here and then here I took 3 lah. So here I took 4. If you took 3, okay, let's say 408, maybe here the last values will be a bit different. Okay, it shouldn't change a lot, but just a bit lah. Okay, but this is basically the answer. That's it. All right, question 14. Table 2 shows the rental prices of 3 types of rooms managed by Hotel Raya. Okay. Find the values of P and R. Okay. Oops. Okay, so P is here. P is the price index of 2025 based on the year 2020. So when they say 2020 equals to 0 means they are trying to say 2020 is the base year lah. So 2025 based on the year 2020. So you can say P is 198 over 180 times 100. This is the formula for index. We get 110. And then R, use the same formula again. Index equals to this over this times 100. So you can say 128 equals to 448 over R times 100. So R will be 128 divided by 100. Or I can say 448 over R is 128 over 100, which is 1.28. So making R the subject, we must swap with this. So R will be 448 divided by 1.28. $350. So R is a price, so we have to write it as 350.00. Done. That's A. They give us 3 marks for this. Actually not bad lah. Alright, next one. B. Calculate the composite index for rental prices in the year 2025 based on the year 2020. Okay, so composite index, we have all the index, we have all the weightage. So we can easily find composite index is sum of index times weightage divided by sum of weightage. So index times the weightage plus index, okay, index times weightage plus index times weightage. Divided by sum of weightage. So all this plus. $110 times 40 plus 130 times 35, 128 times 25. So 12150 over 40, 35, 25, we get 100. So we get 121.5. Done. This is the composite index of 2025 based on the year 2020. Done. Alright, C. On the year 2026, the prices of the rooms increase 13.5% compared to the year 2025. So here they said all rooms increase by 13.5. So individually, we can say the index of 2026 based on the year 2025 is 113.5%, because they said all rooms increase 13.5%. So from 100% it increased 13.5% means 113.5% of all rooms. Okay, for all rooms. Right. Calculate the minimum value of X. And X numbers of deluxe rooms have to be close to safe management costs. So they have closed down X numbers of deluxe rooms. So deluxe rooms was initially 25. Now the new one will be 25 minus X, because they closed down X number already. Calculate the minimum value of X, composite index of the room rentals on the year 2026. 2020 is at most 137. Quite a difficult question. Okay. But they give us 5 marks now. Okay, it's not a usual question actually, it's quite tricky. So they said the composite index of 2026 based on the year 2020. So what we have to do is, we have the index of 26, 25, 25, 2020. So we have to use the chain rule to find the index of 2026 based on the year 2020 for every single room. So we need to do this 3 times. Okay, let's start with the standard room. Okay, so standard room, chain rule will be, you put here will be 2020. Okay, remember chain rule, the top number you put on top, the bottom number you put down here, and here will be something common. So in this case we can put 2025 lah. Then you put bracket. Okay, then you either times or divide based on the value. So if the value is like 100,000s, you have to divide by 100. If the value is in 1 point something, then you times 100. Okay, so this one we write later. So let's do the standard room first. 2025, 2026, 2025, 2025, 2020. 113.5, 110. So if you times these two, you're going to get 12,000 something. So index cannot be that big lah. So what we do is we divide by 100. Okay, the formula memang you must divide by 100 or times 100 depending on the situation. So in this case we divide 100. 124.85. Okay, this is the index for standard room. Now we do the superior room. Okay, same formula. So 2026 2025 times 2025 20 divide on 100. $147.55. Okay, then lastly we do the deluxe room. So this times this, $128 divide by 100. So divide 100, you get 145.28. All right. So now we have the index of 2026 based on the year 2020. Okay, let's update. So 2026, 2020, we have the index. This is 124.85, 147.55, 145.28. Now we can find composite index of 2026-20. So this is the index, this is the weightage, index, weightage, index, weightage. Okay. So we can say composite index of 2026-2020 is 124.85 times 40 plus 147.55 times 35 plus 145.28 times 25 minus x. Whole thing divided by sum of weightage. Right. Okay. Then in this question, they said calculate the minimum value of x if composite index is at most 137. So the composite index is at most 137 means we can say this at most means paling maximum 137. So it can be 137 or lesser at most. If at least this is the symbol, at most this is the symbol. Okay, so now we have to solve x lah. So let's expand one by one. All these we can plus first. One to 4.85 times 40 plus 147.55 times 35 plus 145.28 times 25. 137.90.25 minus 145.28x over this one will be 100 minus x. Okay, then this whole thing we bring it over here. $137x. Then whichever got x, we bring it to one side. So this one, I'm going to bring it here. So 13790.25 minus, this one we bring here minus, oops, my cat is here. So we is less than 145.28x minus 137x. Okay, then we can do this. $90.25 8.28x. So x is more than 10.8 10.9. So x can be said, since x is more than or equals to 10.9, we can say x is 11. Done. Okay, because we can't close down 10.9 rooms. We can only close down 11 rooms. So it has to be 11. This is quite a long question. Quite a little bit tricky lah. But that's it. That will be the question 14. And lastly, question 15. All right. Last question. A factory produces two types of trophies, P and Q. Table 3 shows the time taken to produce trophies P and Q. So machine A takes 30 minutes to produce trophy P and 42 minutes for trophy Q. Okay. Factory produces X units of trophy P and Y units of trophy Q daily. Production of these trophies is based on the following constraints. Okay. Minimum time of the usage of machine A is 7 hours. So it takes 30 minutes to produce trophy P, 42 minutes to produce trophy Q. So if you want to make an inequality using this, it will be 30 minutes times X number of machine P plus 42 minutes to produce Y number of machine Q. The minimum usage is 7 hours. So must be at least 7 hours, but since this is in minutes, 7 hours we have to convert to minutes. So 7 times 60 is 420. Right. Then number 2. Maximum time of the usage of machine B is 10 hours. So 40 units to produce P, 30 units to produce Y number of Q. Maximum time, that means it has to be lesser than or equals to 10 hours. 10 hours is equivalent to 600 minutes. Okay. Number 3. The ratio of number of trophy P to the number of trophy Q is at least 1 to 3. So trophy P to trophy Q, the ratio is at least 1 to 3. So you can cross if you want. Let's just cross lah. So 3x equals to y. Done. Okay. So we get 3 marks from here. B. Using the scale of 2 cm to 2 trophies on both axes, construct and shade the region. Okay. So what to do is, first we have to make 3 tables. So I like to do 3 tables first, something like this. So I split this into 3. I write x, y here. And then let me just duplicate 3 times. Okay. So the first one is for the first equation, this equation. So we say 30x plus 42y equals to 420. Okay. So from here we try to make two coordinates lah. So let's say when x is 0, when x 0 means this whole thing is 0. So 420 divided by 42 is 10. Then when y is 0, so when y is 0 here, this whole thing becomes 0. So x is 420 divided 30. we get 14. Okay, so this will be helpful to plot our coordinates later so that we can draw the lines easily. Then we do the same thing for number 2 and 3. So 40x plus 30y equals to 600. So when x is 0, this one 0, 600 divided 30, you get 20. When y is 0, 600 divided by 40, we get 15. Okay, then the last one, 3x equals to y. So when x is 0, y is 0, then here we just do another coordinate lah. So x is, let's say, 10. Well, let's make it simpler. When when x is 10, y will be 30. Okay, 10 times 3 is 30. Okay, now we can plot our graph. So this will be x, this will be y, 0. So they already gave us the scale, 2 cm to 2 trophies. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Two, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Okay, now let's try to plot these 3 lines. So the first one, x0, y10. x0, y10 is here. And then y0, x14. y0, x14 is here. So our line we draw like this. Right. And then the next one, 0, 20, 15, 0. So when x 0, y is 20. When y 0, x is 15. 15 will be somewhere here. Okay. Then the third one, x 0, y 0, x10, y30. Oh, x10, y30 cannot. Y is up to 20 only. So let's reduce it. Let's take x as 6, let's say. Or a bit bigger lah. 6 lah. So x is 6. If x is 6, y will be 18. So x6, y18 is somewhere here. Done. Okay. Now since all 3 lines are more than equals to, less than equals to, more than equals to, that means there is equals to, right? So all 3 will be solid lines. If there is just more than or less than, then you have to draw dotted lines. Okay. Now we have to shade the region. So let's find the equality that satisfies. So you must always look at y. Y more than. So this is our first line that we drew. More than means above. So more than means up here. Then the next one, y less than. So this is our line. Less than means below. And then the last one, y less than. Okay, y is here. So y is less than. So this is our line, y is less than. Less than means underneath the line. So the first one was above the line. Second one was under. Third one is under. So the area that satisfies all 3 is here. So I'm going to use my highlighter to shade this region. This is our region R. Done. Okay, let's solve the last 4 marks. Okay, using the graph constructor in B, find the maximum unit of trophies P produced if 12 units of trophy Q are produced in a day. So trophy Q is Y. We produce 12 units of trophy Q. So 12 units of trophy Q means we can produce here to here this amount of trophy P. So if they ask you for minimum, then you take this point. But if they ask you for maximum, you take the maximum value of P lah. So maximum will be 6. If they ask minimum, minimum will be 4. Okay, so since they ask maximum only, we write maximum is 6. But don't forget to show your working. Your working should be a dotted line. Okay, you draw a dotted line here. I don't know how to draw a dotted line on my iPad, so I just use this yellow line. Then you guys draw the dotted line. Okay, so dotted line, and then that's your working. Okay, so they can your examiner can see that you've used the graph. Right. Next one, maximum profit made by the factory if the profit from sales of a unit trophy P and trophy Q are 50 and 80 respectively. So the profit is 50 ringgit for trophy P and 80 ringgit for trophy Q. So we sold X amount of trophy P, Y amount of trophy Q. So this will be the total profit. Okay. To find the maximum line, first we need to sketch a baseline. So to sketch a baseline, what we'll do is we try to draw a dummy line. We call this a dummy line. So what I like to do is we can simplify the equation as much as we can. So 50x and 80y, we can write it as 5x plus 8y equals to k. Okay, we divide the whole equation by 10. This k, you don't need to put k over 10 because it's just a constant. We don't know the constant. So to make our life easier to draw this line, the k I like to use 5 times 8. So 5 times 8 is 40, so I'll just put 40 here. This will make our life easier because to draw this line, you need the same table again. Your x and y. So when x is 0, this one is 0, y will be 40 divided by 8, which is 5. Then when y is 0, this one is 0, so x is 40 divided by 5, which is 8. So this is why I use 40, because it's easy lah, then you get like perfect values. So now we can draw this dummy line, x0, y5, y0, x8. Okay, so this is our dummy line. Okay, you cut through these 2 points. Okay, then what we do is you take your ruler, you put it here, then you try to bring it up like this. Okay, you see where does it cut the maximum possible value. So here it looks like the maximum. Okay, here, let me draw this bigger. But we can't take this point because this one is a decimal. It's in the middle. So what we can do is we can find the next possible line. So we bring it down here some more. Here. You see here it cuts exactly 5 and 13. So our maximum point will be 513. So that's the use of this dummy line. It's basically to just you have to make it parallel, then you bring it up to find your maximum possible value lah. So here, then you delete this. I mean, this one is just basically a ruler. You don't have to draw this line. So I delete this. So I can say maximum point is 513. So our maximum profit will be, maximum profit will be this one, 50 times 5, 80 times 13. We get 1,290 ringgit. This is the maximum profit we can get by selling 5 trophies P and 13 trophies Q. Okay, so if you make this combination of trophies, you can profit the most lah. Right, that's it. So this is the NS paper 2. Hope you guys understand. If you don't understand anything, you can ask me in the comment section. I tried my best to reply. But that is all. If you like this video, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye. Take care.